gotta be nice to each other, fair to one another, care for our peers, look out for each other. Tell the teacher and never be quiet, only speak up. Do the right thing and save the day and be a leader. Never fear the bully. Show them love and you'll see. When we stand as one, it's best for everyone, yeah. Don't fear the bully. Please don't fear the bully. Only show them love. Only show them love. Don't fear the bully. Please don't fear the bully. Only show them love. Only show them love. Yeah, you got it. We got it. As a team, know that nothing can stop it. Ignore the bullies what they mean. Confront them with our peace. And then tell the teacher as we conquer this thing. Yeah, never fear the bully. Show them love and you'll see. When we stand as one, it's best for everyone, yeah. Don't fear the bully. Please don't fear the bully. Only show them love. Only show them love. Please don't fear the bully. Please don't fear the bully. Only show them love. Only show them love, yeah. Don't fear the bully. Please don't fear the bully. Only show them love. Only show them love. Don't fear the bully. Please don't fear the bully. Only show them love. Only show them love, yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Happy Sunday to everyone. It is our 6th day of the Great African American Read-In. My name is Gloria Ann Kitchen. I am the creator of Children's Island, where learning is a breeze. I'm also here with Miss Jocelyn Jones.
Hey, y'all. Happy Sunday. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Yeah.
EBB outside.
And Mr. Denby, we are here also with Mr. Denby.
Hallelujah.
And we're also here with our author for this evening, Mrs. Samantha Williams. How are you doing this evening?
I had to unmute myself. I am amazing. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be able to share on a Children's Island, where learning is a breeze. I love it. I love it. Thank you all.
All right, well, Miss Samantha, we're going to go ahead and spotlight you right now so that you can go ahead and start.
Right. Well, thank you all again for this wonderful opportunity to share this literary work. Again, my name is Samantha Williams. I am an apostle. I'm a senior pastor also of Soul Harvest Creative Praise Ministries in Hollywood, Florida. I've been pastoring for over 13 years. Well, no, over 14 years. Oh my goodness. And I am an equipper. I equip agents of change in life, in ministry, and in the marketplace. And so, you know, not only training adult agents, but I also love to train children agents. Amen. I love, you know, I think about our children, you know, of course, you know, we say this, the phrase children are our future. The world has really gotten that. They know that. And they are trying to indoctrinate and educate them for the things of the world. And I truly believe that it is our job, it is our duty as the body of Christ to make sure that we equip our children, that we are building them up, and that we are teaching them about their identity, which is so important in this time and season, that our children are learning their identity in him. And so that is one of the reasons why I wrote Jules' Treasure Hunt, because I wanted an opportunity for parents to have discussions with their children, to share with them about Christ. I also wanted to do it in a way that wasn't preachy, but just in a fun way, creative way that children can understand, and understand their identity, and that everything that they need, that God has placed it on the inside of them. And so I just wanted to bring that to the forefront. So I'm excited to share this book with you. It is called Jules' Treasure Hunt. Jules' Treasure Hunt, written by myself, illustrated by Laura Kaleha. And she did an amazing, amazing job. All right, let's go into Jules' Treasure Hunt. And it says, "Hi, my name is Jules, and I have a treasure, you see. My mom says I have a treasure. She said so. Yes, indeed. I have to look. I have to search. I'll seek and I shall find. I've got to find that treasure, and it's got to be all mine." I searched under my bed and also in my closet. I checked the sheets and pillows too, my drawers and all the cabinets. And I even checked the top shelf. Achoo! I searched in the garden. I looked in every tree. I searched all the pots and looked under every leaf. I've got to find that treasure. Oh, I forgot to check the attic. It's pretty creepy up there. So I took my trusty flashlight, but I was too afraid to climb the stairs. I was determined to find that treasure if it was the last thing that I did. So I gathered up my nerves and climbed up to see where it could be hid. I looked inside every box and I searched for it high and low. I still couldn't find that treasure. And on my way out, I hit my toe. Ouch. I couldn't eat my dinner. There was so much on my mind. Mom said I have a treasure, but it's impossible to find. As I laid in bed and I thought about every place it could be, Mom came to say goodnight, and boy, did she hear it from me. You said I have a treasure, and I know you never lied. You said I have a treasure to seek, so I shall find. I searched and searched all day to find what you said was mine. But it's nowhere, I cried. Mom gazed at me and she held me tight and she wiped my tears away. She said, you do have a treasure, but you looked in all the wrong places today. We have a precious treasure, the light of God's holy word. His light shines bright within us to illuminate the world. The treasure is his love for you and me. For God so loved the world, he sent his son to set us free. The treasure is his spirit that dwells in you and me, so we can walk like him and help others to be free. Your talents and your gifts are all treasures from above, to use them to shine in this world, all for the glory of God. I told you I have a treasure. I sought and I knew I would find a priceless and precious treasure that was within me all the time. The end. And so the back of the book, it says that Jules is a friendly and fun-loving little girl who embarks on an exciting treasure hunt. Through her many challenges during her search, she soon discovers more than she could ever imagine. This charming story would uplift and empower girls and boys of all ages. And you can find this book not only on Amazon, but we also have it. We have it in various formats on Amazon. So you can also purchase a paperback. You can also purchase this in audio. I was able to narrate this book, so you could definitely download it for Kindle and paperback and the hard copies as well. We also have a doll that we created that goes with the book as well. And so this is something also that's really nice. It's a rag doll, Jules rag doll. And it's just something great that you can, have your daughter, your son, have them use it to talk to them about the story. And it's just a really cute thing to have. All right, so thank you all for allowing me to share my story with you all on tonight.
That is amazing. Thank you. If you would allow me to turn on the minister of music, Mr. Denby, I would probably think There Is a King in You after that story. Donna Lawrence came out with that song.
Yes.
There is a king in you. And I love that story. And your story has been going along with the theme of what the other Black authors have been talking about. Parents telling their children and giving their children a sense of who they are, instead of letting your children find out from other people. And then the other day, Jocelyn, on her show with Lemure Dessoir, she was talking about connecting your kids to a source, and a lot of times, because of a lot of Black families, a lot of families don't go to church anymore. We have disconnected from our source. And this is a time, we need to connect our kids back. Even if you don't believe in God, you need to connect your kids to some type of source so they have that grounding. Amen. I'm all right. It's Sunday. We gonna have church today. Thank you for that story.
You want to go, Johnson?
Yes, I really enjoyed that story. It is definitely a powerful story. And again, the theme of self-identity and parenting, being, parents being as the first teacher, the first model, it continuously is going into play. And so I think it's just important that the parents are just the nucleus of the child's identity. So that they understand who they are, whose they are, knowing their foundation. And when we don't have that foundation, a lot of our kids are lost, And so having these types of books to reassure, children of who they are, and also the parents, like the parents, when they're reading this, it also gives them a self check, like, oh, I'm not doing this. Maybe I should do this, to to sustain my child and understand who they are. So it's just a phenomenal book, and you already got the secret sauce because you're a pastor. So it's just natural for you. You know what I'm saying, to tell a story and have a storyline, and create a parable. That gift is already in you, so you just gotta. Now it's in manuscript. So it's a beautiful thing, and I love the surprise at the end with the doll, which is, again, it goes back to what we were talking about, Kyrie, with social emotional learning. Using dolls and so forth to help create social abilities, and expression, through using a doll and playing. So it's just that thing just keeps coming back over and over again, which is really amazing.
It hasn't been like every day this month.
Yeah,
That
it
thing,
has.
ever since you talked about it, it's been coming back with the prison doctor. He talked about it, and then every book has to be on that theme of connecting the family back to a source and letting parents tell children who they are and stop letting YouTube and TikTok and everything else tell your kids who they are, and you tell them. Then when they watch it, they say, oh, well, I know who I am, so this don't matter right here. I'm right here. Right. And that's what we need. Thank you, Ms. I just heard Jocelyn say Reverend Samantha Williams. Amen. I didn't know that. That's why we going to church on here this evening.
I always say that somebody's discipling your children.
Yeah.
Someone's discipling them.
Right.
And so we have to make that decision of who we're going to allow to disciple our children. And so that it was very much needed. There was a few years ago, we were mentoring young teenage girls, and we had a ministry called GEMS, and that's called Girls Encouragement Ministry. And so we took the tweens and the teens under our wing, and we mentored them, and it was very successful because a lot of those girls now they're married, or they are mothers now. They're still in ministry. Some of them are still with me, still with our church, and they're doing great things. And so we know that was a success. Mentorship is really important. But in doing that, we were like, well, what are we going to do for the smaller kids coming up? And so that's kind of like where that book came. And I began to think about jewels and think about, rubies and diamonds and how those things are so valuable. But they're not things that are on the surface, right? Jewels are things that are hidden, and you have to dig. You have to, you got to dig for it. And it's something that is hidden from the natural eye. And so that's kind of like what I wanted to use with the premise of Jewels, a little girl called Jewels, and she's seeking for a treasure. And it's not something that you can find right in her yard, under a bush, under a tree, under her bed, true treasure is found in places where you can't always visibly see, right? It's deep within us. And so that was the premise of getting, having children to go deeper, because the world, everything is on the surface, but in the things of God, and when we understand our identity, these are things like your gifts and your abilities and your skills and your talents, and all of that is wrapped up, like you're a gift walking to the world. And so we just want, children to recognize that, what they have is valuable. They are worthy, and they are valuable. And so, the premise of that is through Christ. When you understand your identity in Him and what He's made you to be, created you to be, then there's nothing you can't do.
Everybody has spoke their words. Now it's my time. Now it's my turn. No, I know that the first time when we started this last year, and Overseer Carvell, I've known him as Francois, but just respectful in his place. I know that the first thing he said was, "Oh, I gotta connect you. I gotta connect you." So I said, "Okay, all right." But he was also on Children's Island, and so I just listening to this book, I see why he wanted us to be connected. And I think that this is a phenomenal story that, from a Christian perspective, and oftentimes that's kind of like, I don't know if we really want to touch that area. I think that is a beautiful way to introduce the awe of who God is, in a really nice and beautiful, in a nice and simplistic way, but an enlightening way at the same time. So I think that you really have coined this so well that it just allows you to say, oh my God, because a lot of times, within our culture now, that's like very taboo in a sense, we can talk about it, but there's so many other religions. So it's like, how do I really address that without offending anyone and being politically correct? but we all know that at some point we have to take a stand for something. So I think that you presented this in such a great way. I think that you presented it in a great way. I wanted to know what was the treasure. I really, honestly, that was my thing. Like, what treasure she gonna find? Like, what treasure? I mean, what's she gonna find? And so I see that. It's beautiful, and I think that's a beautiful story. And yes, the doll was something that was very like, okay, yeah, that's different. So I think that there's just so many other things that has a lot. There's a lot of things that you can just do with that book in just so many ways. You can, create a Sunday school about it. You can also create like, a coloring book. I think that's very welcoming. But you can also do vacation Bible school on it if you really wanted to, and then adding your scriptures and different things. So it's a wonderful presentation. I think you've done an excellent job, fine job.
Thank you so much for that. What you're saying, that also helps. I'm going to take some of that. It's interesting that before the pandemic started, I was able to go into schools, and I was reading it to preschools and elementary schools, and people who aren't, necessarily a Christian, but they love the story and they wanted their children to hear it, and they bought the book. We had an opportunity in Barnes and Nobles to do an event in Barnes and Noble, and that was very successful. And so what we do is kind of create experiences surrounding the book. So it's not just about reading the story, but we take the children on a journey. So we do arts and crafts with the book. We created a treasure chest. The children did an arts and craft project where they created a treasure chest, and then we talked about what goes in the treasure chest, and then we were able to go into the store. We did an actual treasure hunt where they were, looking for treasure in the yard, in the grass, and out, outside. Or when we were in Barnes and Noble, they were able to run through the aisles of the store in the children's section, and we were able to hide things, and the kids were they love that. And then we would do the story, and parents really gravitated to that, and they bought the book. So it was, I've learned that building an experience around it really, it hones in on the message a lot more. So thanking God, the pandemic now, we're, it's behind us. I believe we're trying to get back to some normalcy, and so that I can return back into doing these events and building an experience for the children around the story. So I'm excited about this year.
I'm gonna say this. I really think you could. I know that you didn't come here for advice from me, but I could see you even taking the same story. If you can get that illustrator to put boys in the story and make Jewel a boy also, and because just to see a boy in the same way. And I was sitting here thinking, and I'm like, what she has done is like awaken the wonder in a child. Like, where is the treasure? Like and a lot of things, we've taken that away from a lot of kids. A lot of parents are being so brutally honest with their kids. It ain't no Santa Claus. It ain't no this. It ain't no this. It ain't no that. So we've lost that wonder. Kids have lost that. And telling them that they have a treasure that awakens the wonder, like, oh, what's the treasure? And that's what, like, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it, because that's what we need when we talk about teaching kids or anything like that, whether it's girls, boys, and even if, like I said, like you said, even if they don't believe in Jesus, is still awakening a wonder within them, because there's a treasure in them. And if the parents want to, it might be a Buddhist parent, and they might want to say, well, the treasure is through, that's for them to teach them. It's our jobs as authors to put the story out there to awaken wonder. And then the parents have to do the rest and leading and guiding. So I'm just excited about this story.
Yes, I am too. I think that you hit it on the head, Kyrie. That you're reaching, other religions and other ideas and belief systems, through that. And the truth of the matter is we all connected. We all have divinity in us. So in your story, everybody gets a piece of that, however they see. the source. They're getting a piece of that. You're sharing a piece of you, and it might be uncomfortable to some people, as a Christian and so forth, that they reaching, some people, but you were designed to be in that position to say, I don't care. I know the assignment,
Mm.
I understand the assignment. I understand the assignment. Okay. Okay. You
Yes, I understand the
understand.
assignment.
You understand the assignment. So you're not boxed in, because the God that you serve is not boxed in. You know what I'm
At
saying?
all.
So,
We have to
so
use
it's,
creativity.
yeah.
We have to use different ways to be able to get the message out. And God is showing us that we have to learn how to re-present the gospel message, and to do it in a way that it's not always the way you're used to seeing things. We have to be creative, we have to be innovative, and in order for us to reach the world. And so that's my assignment. And so I have to go in, no matter what people believe, but I believe that when they meet me as the author, and we come to people in love, and we really, we bring something that's universal to all of us, which is literacy, and learning, reading, and giving people a beautiful story. And like what you were talking about, Kyrie, about the wonder, and just having them on that, sitting there waiting, like what's coming next, and again, building the experience around the story. It does what you meant for it to do. And I'm surprised at the people who have allowed me to even come into various classrooms, and they're like, please come. They're like, come back, because our children need this. Like they need to hear this message, because they're listening to everything else. Why can't they hear something? Why can't they hear something of some substance that's going to help them? And so I haven't found where I've gotten a lot of pushback, and it's really, people have been very receptive, and it's going to be for who it's meant to be for, so.
Well, and plus you're not bashing people over the head,
Mm-mm.
And that's the thing. It's not like you saying you got to be a Christian and nothing else. And if you're not a Christian, you going to hell. You're not bashing the people over the head with Jesus. You telling them there is a treasure, and the treasure is within you. And the treasure in you comes from Jesus. So, I can probably accept that a little more. You're not trying to force me to change who I am. That's just, okay, she's saying that's who it comes from. And that's the thing that that the church is lacking, because the church, people are so used to the church bashing them over the head with Jesus, using Jesus to beat them up. Now, to talk about that, we was coming on here to read a children's story, and that's what we gonna do. But I'm just saying, I'm just saying that I thank you for that book.
Thank you.
Because he gets started, but then he'll tell me don't go there. He'll get started up, and then say on national syndicated Facebook, Gloria, and we did not come here for that. But I let him carry on because he is the boss. He is my boss. Oh my God. But I'm just being extra. But no, I do get, I do understand what Mr. Dibby is talking about, because there are sometimes people feel very offended, when they go to church, because they do feel a sense of like, when I come in, I'm getting bashed over the head over just a lot of different things. So I think that's a lot, that's a whole children dialogue conversation. How do we talk about religion to children? That could be a whole topic, a whole week of just how do we talk religion to children, and what is a way, how do you present that, especially when we have so many different types of religion, so many types of cultures. How do we present, Christ to children? How do we present the divinity to kids? How do we present the divine to them? So, Mr. Denby, you were going somewhere. You're going somewhere with it. I'm not going to do you like how you do me, but I won't. But,
And it's needed. People want to know how I can find a way to share share their faith with their child. And so, this is a great way to have those conversations, on a very simplistic way to do that, so.
I think it's wonderful. I definitely know that you'll definitely be back on Children's Island again, so we can have some moving forward conversations about this. So I think this would be really good for the most part. I do know, I know Overseer Carvel, I definitely am looking to bring him back again, and you for sure. And I also want to bring his wife on something as well as we move into it later on this year. So this is wonderful. This is a wonderful thing.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. So where did we ask? I'm so sorry. Did we ask where can we purchase your book?
I did throw it out there after I read it, but I'll say it again. It's available on Amazon. They can go to Amazon, and I would tell you to type into the search box, Jules Treasure Hunt book, and you'll see the books there. All my hard copies are sold out. If they want a hard copy, they'd have to reach out to me personally. You can definitely reach out to me on my Facebook page, Samantha Williams, or Samantha Williams Ministries. You can also go to Jules Treasure Hunt Facebook page. I have a page just for Jules Treasure Hunt. You can inbox me if you'd like a hard copy, but Amazon does have they have the paperback. So you can purchase your paperback format, and you can also download it to Kindle. So it's also available in audio as well. And we have a lot of little surprises in there. When I narrated the book, we put in a few little, sounds. It's got sounds that go with the books to make it, to give children something to listen to. It's not just me narrating, but it was a lot of fun doing that narration as well. Yes, so yeah, that's how they can get a copy of it, and just hang tight, because God willing, we're gonna roll out the Jules Treasure Hunt Experience, which is will be an annual event, and it's going to allow children to come, and we're gonna have it's a open park. We're gonna be at a park, and it'll just be like the whole morning of them with different activities, arts and crafts, readings. We have music also that goes with the book as well. A song I wrote called "I Have a Treasure," and right now my brain just went. But I wrote 2 songs for the book, and so we play those songs as well. And we're gonna do like a little program for the children as well. I'm working on a mascot for the book, and I have a mascot, but I need to redo it, because it was too big and bulky. I wanted kind of to condense it so that, how kids and mascots, sometimes, you can do it and it can be scary, or it can be either or. I don't want it to be scary. So we're gonna go back to the drawing board again to get that mascot right. But yeah, we're working on a lot of things for this story, and God's willing, I'm gonna take that advice as far as having the boy character. It's something I had thought about, and what I wanted to do is just take the book and do another series, make it a series, and then incorporate some of her friends and incorporate, a boy as one of Jules' friends, and so that boys are reading the story, parents reading the story to girls and boys, but yeah, we can, definitely incorporate more young boys in the future, just to kind of give a more balanced.
Well, it is my goal this year for parents to root their boys for reading books the way they root them on for doing a touchdown. So my goal, every time you see me, I'm going to be saying, I want boys reading. I need these boys reading, because that's my goal. That's my goal for this year, to have parents root them boys on. When you read a book, hey, you read a book. Yes. That's what I want.
I'm right with you.
I was going to also suggest, I'm sorry, Glo.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I was also going to suggest, perhaps, I don't know if you have or haven't, but maybe pitching it to the Christian Education Association, International Association.
Nope, didn't know anything about that.
Yes. I would definitely pitch it to them. You know, because it could be in Vacation Bible School, you know, and all of that. So maybe look into that. Uh,
What's the name of the organization? What is it called again?
it's the Christian Education International Association.
Christian Education International
Hmm.
Association. Right.
Yes,
I'm gonna
ma'am.
definitely check into
Jocelyn
that.
always be knowing about these good places. I'm saying she know about everything.
I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
We are helpers to one another.
Hmm.
Reverend Samantha, would you do two things? Would you place place the information in our chat that we have on Facebook so we can place it on up under this chat, not chat, but place it under this session for tonight? And then
Okay.
also
I already posted her Amazon link under the
Okay.
Facebook Live.
Okay, well, well, thank you, Miss.
Thank
Vinnie. I
you.
appreciate
Proactive. He was already.
already on it. He's so proactive. He just really is.
Yes.
And then we have a question on here from Minister Sam. He says, wondering how you all speak to young girls outside of the Christian perspective. So how do we speak to young girls outside the Christian perspective? That was one of the questions.
How do we speak to girls outside of the Christian perspective? Well, a lot of it for me is, it's going to be in, because when I embody, I'll say I'm not just being a Christian, I am a Christian. So it's gonna permeate all out of, from my ideas, from what I teach. But I mean, if I have to say, just supporting young girls, what I'm saying, and letting them know of their value again, but I go right back to, for me, I'm going to always go right back to my identity, because in Christ, and that's where it starts, and that's everything. Maybe someone else might be able to give some advice in regards to some, not attached to the Christian faith. Mm-hmm. But my thing is, when you don't know a purpose, when you don't know your purpose or an identity, when you don't understand that, you'll misuse it. You won't be effective. Everything starts from who you are, starts from your identity, what you identify as and who you know yourself to be. And you're going to live that out. You're going to carry that out through everything that you do in your life. And so to detach ourselves from that.
But I feel like as long as you say for me,
yes,
I do. Mm-hmm. And not forcing, if somebody see somebody with what you call it, Jocelyn, a
job
on, you don't want to be like, for me and for you, you have to be, you said for me, that's my attachment, I'm attached to Christ, not for you, it might be something else, but you still have a treasure.
Yes,
and that's the way the story seemed, the way you put it was like, you have a treasure. For me, my treasure comes from my connection with Christ, and it's not like pushing it on people, because they, you can transform people they can be brought into the Christian world, but at the same time, you don't want to force them. You let them make the decision for themselves. Whatever their connection is their connection. And that's what I don't want to get too heavy into that, but that's what it seems like where you were going. Like for me, my connection is Christ, but you still have a treasure, and you have to find out where your connection is, in what makes your treasure what it is.
And to see what you produce, because we'll know each other by our fruit and what we produce, and so my thing is I have experience in mentoring young girls and mentoring teenagers from the time they're, we're talking about 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, all the way up till they're, they're 18. And so that's where my experience lies. And it came from me giving them the foundation, right, through their faith. And so, and not just telling them, but also living it out. And so I would tell people that whatever you're going to teach children, the biggest teacher, right, is not just what you say, but it's what you do, how you live. They're watching you, they're watching your example. So give them a good example. Let them know that you're that you are real, that you are authentic, because children can see straight through all that stuff. They, you could fool people, but children, they have a keen sense. They know who's real and who's not, and so we have to really give children, just what's real and teach them what's real and not the delusion and falsehoods of this world and the deceptions of this world, but really teach them with truth, live it out in front of them, stand for truth, stand for what's right. Let them know that they're valuable and everyone that they meet is valuable, right? Just those certain rules, like even in the word, you can pull out principles like do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And the golden rule, right? The golden rule of loving your neighbor, right? Loving, just there's certain things you can pull out without being, again, churchy, but you can still pull out kingdom principles that work. And if they work it, you're going to see the manifestation of that.
I think this is just a thing for Children's Island because it just keep re-evolving. We just had Miss Joyce come off and talk about the golden rule, so, and then also too, just to add, I know we, pressed for time, but cultural relativism. I'm going back to my presentation. And I would invite anyone who's having issues with, trying to explain religion to children, or even, you yourself, if you're trying to, you know, carry the message, and you're in a position that you're a Christian and talk to other religions, but really just having cultural relativism and creating a space of love and respect. That's just the bottom line. I don't care what you're teaching, what it is. It's really about taking, you know, setting your own understanding and values aside to listen to what other people and how they see the world, and then bringing in what you feel the world is, or feel, how your source or how God plays a part in your life, and sharing that and finding those similarities in that. Because as I said before, we all have divinity in us. And if you study every religion has something with Jesus in there, something with God in there. So there is a source of divinity within all of us. So we can always relate, as human beings, as divine beings. So it's really, creating that space. And I think, Pastor Williams, you've done that a wonderful job in that, just creating that space for people to accept that. Because if you didn't have that space and create that space, people would not be accepting your message. So I think you've done a phenomenal job of just, having that type of cultural relativism and respecting people and people respecting you. So I mean, you, like I said, you understood the assignment. Okay.
I love it. Thank you.
And also, I think it's awareness. It's awareness, and that's what I think the purpose is awareness. I know that even in my professional career, I think that's something that I was trying to, like, it's so much, but where do you start? So you start at that place of awareness, activating awareness. So I have to agree with Jocelyn. The assignment was understood, and it's a possibility, just because I think a lot of times we just are writing, and then it's like it unfolds after we publish the book, have conversations, and it's like, oh wow, not to discredit anything, but just saying that I think that sometimes the revelation of what you are doing in the process unfolds after it's completed. So I think that this is wonderful. I mean, it's groundbreaking for most part. And we do see a continual and like repetitive theme outlining, what Children's Island is like, is prevalent. And then last night, I just had my little aha moment about what is Children's Island. And so I was like, what is it doing, And so I got that last night. I got the clarity on that: children, education, inclusion. So that's, that was my like aha moment, because I wanted to know where are we going, how we are going to do it. Sometimes you got to sit by yourself, because that's when it, he talked to you. So this is like right on time, like confirmation to me. Okay, so the treasure. Yeah. Jewel found her treasure. I found my treasure too. So I found my treasure. So, and that happened to me. I'm serious. That happened to me last night. Even after I fell asleep on Jocelyn, I woke up and started writing. But for the most part, thank you again for coming on here. I know that we will definitely have some more conversations, and a lot of people have responded very much so throughout the chat. And I know that Corinne Parker, she's one of our authors that we will be spotlighting later on this month. And she said that she wants to watch the replay. She wants her son to watch it. So that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I'm pretty sure everybody's going to rewatch it again. So for the most part, Mr. Denby, is your heart clear? Your heart and your mind clear?
I have said everything I wanted to say, and I'm not going to say anymore. Thank you again, Reverend Sarah Williams. This was a lovely book. Thank you.
I should have said, well, Minister Denby, do you have anything else to say? That's Kyra, my message.
I didn't say, let the church say amen.
Jocelyn, you have anything?
Oh my gosh, you got the keyboard right there.
The keyboard up and ready.
Right. I'm so excited because we're gonna be ready when we do this podcast.
Reverend Sarah, I'm getting ready to give you some preacher music.
You mean Samantha?
Reverend Samantha.
Oh my goodness.
I'm getting ready to give you some preacher music.
Okay. Yeah.
Girl.
A mess. Well, thank you so much, Pastor Williams. I've enjoyed just everything on tonight. This is very, very awesome.
Amen. I've enjoyed myself so much. Thank y'all again for this platform.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
I keep doing this thing. This is powerful.
Yes. Mm-hmm. No, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was
just saying that it's powerful. Education is powerful, and just how you can use education to teach, to empower. It's amazing. And so this platform that you're giving people, you all are giving people the opportunity to share what's out there. You never know. Like, you don't know. Sometimes you're looking for people, you're looking for, where can I find someone who's an author, and you're spotlighting African-American authors this month. I mean, it's just powerful, for us all to come together in this one place right on the island and to share, what God has given us for the world, to be a blessing to the world. So thank you.
I receive all of that. I really do. I receive all of that. And as I know, Mr. Denby, he ready. Listen, I'm telling you, when we do this podcast, honey, we finna be ready. Okay, put me in E flat major. Well,
I'm going to start with y'all today. I'm not doing this.
Put me in E flat, baby.
With y'all today.
Put me in E flat. And let's get up out of here. No, I just want to say thank you for everybody who has been with us for the past 6 days. And so it has been truly amazing. I want to say to my cousin Angela, thank you very much for coming by to stop by to say, hello and show your support. Miss Tanisha James, thank you very much. Lewis Roberts, Lewis going to be on here as well. He's coming. He's going to be an author later on this month. And my auntie Mona, we greatly appreciate you. Minister Sam Heath, thank you. Miss Corinne Partner, and everyone else I cannot see, but you're watching. So again, we want to say thank you very much for joining us on tonight. Again, thank you very much, Reverend Samantha Williams, for joining us tonight and really blessing us with an amazing story. And that was really beneficial to us. and also inviting us to embrace the divinity within ourselves and also to look at others in a beautiful way. So we are Children's Island, where learning is a breeze. You all have a wonderful night. We will see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So Minister Denby, put us in E flat and let's say our benediction.
Praise God from whom
God.
all blessings
I'm telling you, y'all, he ready.
live.
Ready.
We getting off the live, y'all. Have a good have a good night. Oh my God.